Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Richard Schaefer basically corroborates with Floyd Mayweather and says the same thing. Richard Schaefer, he says, I don't want to deal with Bob Arum at all. He just said this in a recent article a day ago. And he was basically referring to the attempted negotiations for Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather fight. Now look, there's a difference from a fighter trying to avoid someone in particular and a couple of promoters that just have differences. Okay, there is a difference. Now, for example, when it comes to Leo Santa Cruz, he flat out avoided and ducked Guillermo Rigo. All right, he completely ducked him. I had already knew this before, but someone had actually sent a link to me after I did one of my videos a couple of months back. And basically, it was an article in Spanish. It was a Spanish interview that Leo Santa Cruz did. And it was just surprising to me because hardly anyone ever brings up Rigo when they interview Leo Santa Cruz. But it was a Spanish reporter who actually brought it up. And he said, you're talking about all these people, but what about Guillermo Rigo? He's the man to beat at 122. And Leo Santa Cruz's response was, my father doesn't want that fight. This is what he said. This came out of Leo's mouth. All right? So, like I said, that is the difference between not wanting to fight someone and being able to pull the promotional card or the promotional excuse, however you want to say it. Now, for example, Abner Mares and Rigo and Donaire, at one point, they were both ducking Guillermo Rigo as much as they could, right? I mean, ducking them to a T. But Donaire was kind of forced into fighting against Guillermo Rigo because I believe that Bob Arum, he put it in Guillermo's contract that, as long as you keep winning, you'll be guaranteed a shot at Donaire. It was kind of an incentive to sign with Top Rank, just like Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley, he turned down a fight with Amir Khan because he was trying to get signed with Top Rank so he can get a guaranteed fight with Manny Pacquiao, and that's what Bob Arum did. Bob Arum told Tim, if you sign with Top Rank, I will guarantee you a fight with Manny Pacquiao. Now, but see, when you go back to Donaire and Abner Mares, like I said, they were both ducking Guillermo Rigo. But when it comes to Abner Mares and Donaire thinking about fighting each other, I think we can all agree, no one would say that even though that fight never took place, no one would blame Donaire on ducking Abner Mares and vice versa, right? We know that fight did not happen because of negotiation differences between, or I should say promotional differences between Bob Arum and Golden Boy's Richard Schaefer. They do not want to do business with each other. And to be quite honest, I think both promotional teams have gotten used to being able to take all of the money. I like to call it in-house money versus visitors' money. Basically, the in-house money is when you get to take all of the money as a promoter because you promote both fighters. Okay? Visitors' money is when you have two promoters doing business, which means you have to share some of that money that you're not used to sharing. Okay? Which could make some promoters pretty spoiled if they're used to doing it that way, that in-house way, for so long. So the point that I'm basically making is, if no one blamed Donaire or Abner Mares on them not fighting each other, and no one right now is blaming Leo Santa Cruz on ducking Guillermo Rigo, which he did duck him, then that is clear evidence that no one can say Floyd ducked Manny Pacquiao. No one can say Manny Pacquiao ducked Floyd Mayweather. Like I said, if it's anything, Bob Arum, he was ducking Floyd Mayweather. As much as I want to see this Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight, like I told you guys before, I don't know exactly what month, but my sources tell me that Manny Pacquiao's contract is up in 2014, which is only a couple weeks away. So, I'm thinking maybe Maybe it's possible that after Pacquiao's April fight, his contract will be close to being up. And we'll see. We'll see if if Manny Pacquiao knows, which I'm sure he does. If Manny knows that Floyd and Richard Schaefer, Golden Boy, they don't want to deal with Bob Arum, and Manny Pacquiao really wants this fight. I mean, right now he owes $68 million to the IRS on both sides, in the Philippines and in America. He probably is a little desperate. He probably is trying to make that money, because even if Manny Pacquiao were to get offered, I don't know, a guaranteed $40 million again, that would really help, because Manny Pacquiao, let's face it, from this point on, especially after Manny Pacquiao's last pay-per-view numbers, he may have to fight 3 times to get $40 million. All right? He got $18 million in his last fight. But the problem is, if you do the math and you think about the pay-per-view numbers, the very low pay-per-view numbers, then what it would seem like is Bob Arum end up giving Pacquiao way more money than Pacquiao was actually worth. All right, which, who knows? This is only speculation, but it could be possible that Bob Arum lost money on that Pacquiao versus Rios fight. So basically the point is, with this dark cloud hanging over Manny Pacquiao called the IRS, and all the other bad things that are happening around Manny Pacquiao, it would suggest and it would seem that he is desperate to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather right now. So that's why it'll be interesting to see if Manny Pacquiao's contract is up in 2014. Will Manny Pacquiao decide to go off and be a free agent, similar to the way Miguel Cotto did when Miguel Cotto fought against Floyd Mayweather? Miguel Cotto was a free agent, so he was able to negotiate with whoever he wanted to. All right, he didn't have anyone, basically attached to him. So we'll see, man. So that's really all I got on this one. Like I said, I guess we are going to get this Amir Khan fight versus Mayweather. I'm not too crazy about it. I already told you guys that if I was going to be at home watching that fight, I would not pay pay-per-view for that. Okay, I've paid, whenever I was at home when the fight, took place, I've always paid for Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-views. Had a big fight party, and et cetera, et cetera. Unless they put together one of the greatest undercards of all time that is going to be even better than the Mayweather versus Canelo. But Mayweather-Canelo, that was good all over, because even the main event was good. So yeah, we'll talk more about this Mayweather-Khan fight, especially since Khan just announced that the deal is close, and now Floyd Mayweather is already making articles talking about why the fight makes sense. So I guess it's a far-going conclusion now that fight is going to be the next fight for Floyd Mayweather. Like I said, I'm going to make a video talking more about that fight, and we really have to figure out what Floyd Mayweather is thinking. I mean, does he not care about the pay-per-view numbers just because he just broke records on his last fight? I made the comparison on a video before talking about this. You guys can go back. I'll try to add the link later on in the description box. But I talked about before how, Muhammad Ali, he did the exact same thing after Muhammad Ali's biggest victory, at the time, which was a knockout over George Foreman. He turned back around and he fought a complete bum. I mean, this guy was such a bum. This bum makes Amir Khan look like Manny Pacquiao against Mayweather almost, in a certain sense, because Muhammad Ali was fighting against Chuck Webner, a guy who had like 10 losses and was just a loser, an all-around loser. So, it's still the same thing, but at the same time, I still don't understand. As smart of a businessman as Floyd Mayweather is, Floyd has to know that the numbers on this fight is not going to do well. I mean, they're not going to do as bad as Pacquiao. He'll do at least 800 and up, I'm sure. But it's not going to be Mayweather-Mosley type numbers, Mayweather-Canelo, Mayweather-De La Hoya, obviously, right? It'll be far from that. So, but, people, we'll have to see. I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. We'll have to see what happens. And that's all I got on this one, guys. I'm on to the next one.